Hello to everyone, and welcome to my second video, Ukraine, Digitalization of Trade Documentation. For those who didn't watch my first video, Ukrainian legal, banking and tax considerations, let me introduce myself. My name is Oksana Gunda. In addition to being the Vice President of ICC Ukraine, I am the founder of a Ukrainian law firm with offices in Ukraine and Switzerland. I have over 20 years' experience in international commercial law, having worked in the UK, France, and Switzerland, as well as Ukraine. The digitalization of trade documentation, and especially in the context of international trade, is a very important development. It brings many benefits. It is very important to understand the legal and operational environment where you are operating. Electronic capability does not necessarily mean that an electronic document is legally enforceable. In this video, I will explain the situation in Ukraine. From this, I am sure that you will find that Ukraine has a well-developed legal structure supporting digitalized trade and is committed to developing this even further. But before I begin, I would like to say that in addition to the undoubted economic benefits that the digitalization of trade brings, there is also another driving force. Ukraine has suffered greatly from corruption, and the people wanted to root this out. In looking for solutions, it was realized that digitalization and transparency would play a significant role. One result of this was the development of the Ukrainian government's ProZorro platform. All public contracts must be processed through this platform. All documentation is digitized. Also, everyone has full access to see what tenders are open, what the conditions for winning are, who wins, and the terms of any winning bid. This is only possible thanks to the digitalization of these processes. In fact, ProZor, is the Ukrainian for transparently. The general consensus is that this project has been a major success and has helped to significantly reduce corruption in the public sector. So, Ukraine has two main drivers. To digitalization are efficiency and transparency, with all the economic benefits they both bring. On the next slide, I will give you a brief overview of the presentation, and then we will move on to reviewing these topics in more detail. As you can see, in this presentation I will be covering digital signatures and their importance in doing business in Ukraine, electronic invoices. These are now compulsory for most businesses. Digital trade agreements and how these can greatly facilitate trade between countries. Ukraine has signed its first such agreement with the UK. Blockchain, not just the benefits, but also an indication of how the Ukrainian government is considering its use. The Ukrainian government's Dayaya platform and its importance to both individuals and companies. I'll then finish with a short summary and a few personal conclusions. Right. Let's start with the first topic, digital signatures. It's important to know that there are three classes of digital signature. These are differentiated not only technical features, which I won't go into here, but also their legal standing. These classes are simple electronic signature. This is the least secure type of digital signature. These are used mostly in low-risk transactions due to its limited legal effect and enforceability. Advanced electronic signature. This has a somewhat higher legal effect than the simple electronic signature, but it is used less frequently because of its lower level of security. Qualified electronic signature. This is defined as an advanced electronic signature that is created using a qualified electronic signature device and is based on a qualified certificate for electronic signature. They provide legal confirmation of the identity of the individual and the company they represent. Under Ukrainian law, this class of signature has the same legal standing as a handwritten signature. Due to their high level of security and legal standing, these signatures have been widely adopted for high-risk transactions and secure communication by government entities and businesses. Please note, however, that certain documents, such as certificates of inheritance and passports, still require a handwritten signature and cannot be signed electronically. but these represent a small number of exceptions. In the next slides, I will briefly explain how digital signatures are used in Ukraine in B2G and B2B transactions. Please note that all references to digital signatures in this presentation are to qualified electronic signatures. As you can see, the Ukrainian government accepts digital signatures for a wide range of services, namely business registration and updates. Entrepreneurs can use digital signatures to remotely register and update information for Ukrainian registered businesses. Corporate governance participation. Generally, Ukrainian law permits shareholders and members of Ukrainian businesses to participate in corporate governance by attending shareholder meetings and casting votes using digital signatures. Tax filings. Online tax return filing via the Taxpayer Cabinet is the predominant method for Ukrainian businesses. The Ukrainian National Office for Intellectual Property and Innovations accepts digitally signed trademark and patent applications. Digitally signed trademarks and patents are issued then in electronic form. Customs and trade. Digital signatures can be used for filing customs declarations and accessing trade facilitation services via online government platforms. Public procurement. Businesses use digital signatures to participate in electronic public tenders through the Prozoro system. Therefore, if you have any interest in participating in the Rebuild Ukraine Public Sector program, you will have to have a suitable digital signature. Business licensing. Businesses use digital signatures to apply for licenses in regulated industries, such as energy, communications, or alcohol sales, via the appropriate digital channels. Environment and safety reporting. Digital signatures are used to submit environmental impact assessments, health and safety compliance documents. Subsidy and grant. Applications. Digital signatures are required for applying for government subsidies, grants, or support programs. Labor law, compliance. Businesses report employee hires and terminations, as well as handle payroll tax contributions, must all be signed with digital signatures. Now we'll have a look at how digital signatures are used in the B2B world. B2B digital signature usage is now ubiquitous in Ukraine. The main areas they are used is as follows. Contracts and agreements. Digital signatures are used for signing commercial contracts and agreements. E-commerce. Companies and customers are authenticated and verified via their digital signatures in B2B and B2C e-commerce platforms. Invoices and payments. Electronic invoices, payment orders, and other primary accounting documents are issued with digital signatures. For a wider discussion of the general benefits of digitalization in international trade, check out Trade Tech Solutions' video, The Digitalization of International Trade. So, all in all, there is an extensive list of usages, to the extent that it is effectively impossible for most businesses to operate in Ukraine without a digital signature. Now, the discussion to this point has been focused on transactions within Ukraine. What is the situation with regard to cross-border transactions? We'll touch on this in the next slide. Mutual recognition of digital signatures in the EU and Ukraine. Mutual recognition of digital signatures between the EU and Ukraine is a prerequisite for using these in both jurisdictions. Ukraine has become the first non-EU country to be included in the trusted list of trust service providers, which allows for the verification of digital signatures and seals from non-EU countries within the EU. This ensures that Ukrainian digital signatures meet applicable EU standards. Reciprocally, Ukraine recognizes EU-qualified trust services, enabling EU citizens to use their national digital signatures or seals in Ukraine. This bilateral recognition marks a significant advancement in digital cooperation and trust service integration between the EU and Ukraine. This reciprocity of recognition also applies to EFTA countries. We will also see further in the video that this is also the case with the UK. This reciprocity ensures that Ukrainian businesses and citizens can operate seamlessly within the EU's digital market. Furthermore, there are ongoing efforts to further harmonize digital signature standards and practices between Ukraine and the EU. This highlights the commitment to fostering a secure and interoperable digital environment that benefits both parties. The goal is to achieve similar results that have already been agreed with the UK under a bilateral digital trade agreement, which I will outline on the next slide. Ukraine and the United Kingdom entered into a digital trade agreement in November 2022. The key elements of this agreement are as follows. It creates a legal framework for the development of digital trade between the two countries. Digital signatures are mutually recognized. A single window will be created for traders and public authorities. Digital trading systems. These reduce the cost of trade administration by implementing digital solutions and technologies. Free data exchange, the prohibition of unreasonable restrictions on cross-border data transfer. Consumer protection, strengthening the protection of consumer rights in the online space. Open digital markets. These provide for duty-free digital content, cooperation in the field of competitiveness, small business support, standards and compliance, and inclusiveness of the digital economy. Financial services. This allows for the exchange of financial information, new financial services, and updated electronic payments. Technical cooperation. This covers artificial intelligence and use of the latest technologies, cooperation in the field of legal technologies, and cooperation on the recognition of digital documents. All sounds good, right? On the next slide, I'll set out the benefits that digital trade agreements are expected to bring. The benefits of digital trade agreements. Concluding digital trade agreements with other countries reduces the cost of international trade and helps to open up new trading relationships. These are important steps supporting the whole Rebuild Ukraine program. They contribute to the development of the digital economy as a whole. Working with international partners helps both sides to develop their digital skills and service offerings. This in turn encourages and allows individuals to improve their digital skills, raising overall economic productivity. It is also expected that there will be a growth of trade in services, especially as distance no longer matters. This agreement with the UK is expected to act as a blueprint for other agreements. Indeed, the Free Trade Agreement with the European Free Trade Association already includes provisions for digital trade. It is true that Ukraine has not yet ratified the UN Model Law on Electronic Transferable Records, but is expected to do so in the near future. Now, as we have seen, the departure point for digitalization is the digital signature. How do you get a digital signature that is valid in Ukraine? It's easy, as we'll see on the next slide. As I said, getting a digital signature valid in Ukraine is easy. First of all, if you have a digital signature that was issued in the EU or the UK, as I explained earlier, you already have a digital signature that is valid in Ukraine. If you do not have a valid digital signature, then you should contact a Ukrainian government-approved service provider. The list of providers is at the shown below. Alternatively, when you open a Ukrainian bank account, your bank will be able to provide you with your digital signature. Well, I think we've covered digital signatures in enough detail, at least for the moment. Let's now look at other aspects of digitalization that impact trade. Let's start with digital invoices. It should be noted that digital invoices are now mandatory for Ukrainian businesses with a turnover of more than 1 million hryvnias. Digital invoicing options. Businesses can choose from various e-invoicing options, including software programs, online platforms, and mobile applications. Your accountant can advise you with regard to specific options, and which one would be best suited for your needs. Required information on the invoice. Digital invoices must include the usual details, such as supplier and buyer information, invoice details, tax-related information, and the total amount payable, and must be digitally signed. Digital invoice submission. Businesses must submit digital invoices to both the tax authorities and the recipients. Record keeping. Digital invoices must be securely stored for 3 years to comply with Ukrainian tax laws. Legal equivalence. Paper and digital invoices have the same legal standing in Ukraine. The next document to be considered is the e-CMR. If you are not familiar with the CMR, it's a standardized agreement and document used to regulate the transportation of goods by road across international borders. The CMR document is a legal contract between the sender, carrier, and recipient, specifying the terms of transport and ensuring accountability. In 2020, Ukraine became the 27th country to officially accept electronic consignment notes, e-CMRs. This move aligns with Ukraine's broader digitalization efforts to streamline logistics and enhance transparency in the transportation sector. Legal acceptance. Ukraine ratified the additional protocol to the CMR Convention, allowing for the use of e-CMRs. Benefits of e-CMRs. The transition to e-CMR streamlines document processing, reduces errors, and improves efficiency in the transport industry. Integration with other systems. The Ukrainian government plans to integrate e-CMRs with other national information resources, such as the Weigh-in-Motion system and the Electronic Timber Accounting System, EU4 Digital Project. Ukraine is participating in the EU4 Digital Pilot Project to integrate with the EU's Unified Electronic Consignment Note System. Future prospects. The e-CMR system in Ukraine is designed with European data exchange standards in mind, making future integration with the EU's e-CMR system easier. Digitalization as a concept can be further extended by considering the application of blockchain applications. Indeed, there are blockchain solutions supporting e-CMRs. On the next slide, I'll look at the potential benefits of using blockchain in the supply chain and summarize where the Ukrainian government is considering its application. The main benefits of utilizing blockchain technology in the supply chain are as follows. Reduced transaction costs. Blockchain can reduce the time and cost associated with traditional trade finance, making it more accessible and efficient. Improved supply chain management. Blockchain can track goods and documents throughout the supply chain, enhancing transparency and reducing the risk of fraud. Increased transparency and trust. Blockchain's immutable nature ensures that all transactions are recorded securely and transparently, building trust among parties involved. Ukrainian government initiatives. The Ukrainian government is exploring the use of blockchain for various applications, including electronic land auctions, the state land registry, and the system of electronic trading in arrested property. Cryptocurrency taxation. The government is also working on a framework for taxing cryptocurrency transactions, including those related to payments or cashing out to fiat currency. Challenges. Despite the potential benefits, challenges remain, not least regulatory uncertainty. Also, given the number of parties to an international trade and the number of countries that can be involved, together with the initial costs of any operational change, a mass switch to blockchain technology will not happen. For the time being, developments are expected to be piecemeal and for specialized niches. Finally, I think it would be useful to look at the Ukrainian government's DIA platform. This will show just how much digitalization is embedded in the Ukrainian economy. DIA is a mobile app and online portal in Ukraine that provides digital identification and access to a wide range of government services. It allows citizens to access digital documents, manage their personal information, and interact with the government electronically. The main elements to these services are as follows: digital documents. DIA allows Ukrainians to access and share digital versions of their ID cards, passports, driver's licenses, and other important documents. Online services. The platform provides access to a vast array of online government services, streamlining interactions with various agencies, including the payment of taxes. Digital identity. DIA facilitates digital identification and verification, making it easier for citizens to prove their identity online. Ministry of Digital Transformation. DIA is a key initiative of the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine, aimed at accelerating the country's digital transformation. Open source code. The DIA app is now available as an open source code, allowing other countries to learn from Ukraine's experience and implement similar solutions. Companies can also access and use DIA. For example, DIA City. This is a virtual free economic zone for tech companies in Ukraine, offering tax benefits and modern legal tools. Online services. DIA provides a platform for various online services, including business registration, permits and licenses, and submitting declarations. Digital signatures. Companies can leverage the DIA signature feature for legally binding digital signatures, both within Ukraine and with EU-based businesses. Hiring and management. DIA City enables companies to hire talent as contractors or gig workers. E-residency. Foreign entrepreneurs can conduct business online in Ukraine through the e-residency system, accessible via DIA without the need for a physical presence. Digital wallet. DIA can also be used as a digital wallet in EU countries, allowing for payments and other transactions. Well, with that, I believe I have covered most aspects of the digitalization of trade in Ukraine. It just remains for me to make a few concluding remarks. I think the situation regarding the digitalization of trade in Ukraine is clear. The benefits to the Ukrainian economy in terms of increased efficiencies and the reduction of corruption are undoubted. Ukraine now has a well-developed legal basis supporting the digitalization of trade. There are Ukrainian government platforms, especially Prozoro and DIA, supporting the digitalization of the Ukrainian economy. International agreements, particularly with the EU and the UK, and the ratification of the e-CMR protocol are helping to promote the digitalization of Ukraine's international trade. With these proven benefits, further progress in the extension of digitalization can be expected. Thank you for watching the video Ukraine, Digitalization of Trade Documentation. I hope you found this information useful, and if you did, it would greatly help us if you could click on the like button and subscribe to our channel to stay updated. Also, please share this video and playlist with your colleagues and business contacts. We would really appreciate that. Above all else, remember, ICC Ukraine and our partners are here to help. If you have additional questions, you can call or write to me. My contact details are on this slide and are available in the description below. My last video is on the topic of tariffs and value-added tax. I hope you'll be able to stay with me for that. My name is Oksana Gunda. I look forward to hearing from you.